Previously, you've tried to enter upmarket areas in northern suburbs, like areas in Johannesburg, and you've been told that Chicken Licken is too black.
That's right. That's right. And we battled, and we in most of the shopping centres now, in the Johannesburg area, Durban area, Cape Town. We're just looking at the store in Adderley Street. But it's been a battle. I mean, even up to now, we can't get into Sandton City. They just won't let us in. And when one of my friends asked them why, they said, we will bring the criminal element into that centre. Huh. If there is a criminal element, it's already there. But we won't give up. If we can't get into Sandton City, we'll open a drive-through in Sandton. We recently made an offer for a piece of land in Sandton, and we're happy to pay 45 million to buy a piece of land to put a drive-through. That's how serious we are.
So how do you change that kind of mindset within corporate South Africa?
You'll change that mindset as more black people get into those positions, because all those positions are still run by whites, and they have that attitude. It will change. We just got to hang in there, and it will change one day for us.
Is this given the legacy that Chicken Licken has, having started back in the times of apartheid in South Africa in several townships in the country?
That's right. People think of it as a Kasi brand.
Well, Kasi is cool.
Yeah, but the food was not designed for the Kasi. This is a high-spec chicken. The equipment is international standard. For example, our chicken breading that we dip the chicken in, our coleslaw dressing has 3 different types of oil in it. Mm. So these are sophisticated recipes I've developed over the years. And if there's anything at Chicken Licken that I don't like, we'll never sell it. We're not going to sell it just for the sake of selling it. Recently, one of our suppliers said, put less oil in your mayo and you'll save money. And I told her, don't mess with the original recipes. Rather charge me, but I'm not putting less oil in my mayo.
Let's touch on that, because when it comes to fast food outlets, we have a lot of nutritionists or people who focus on nutrition, and they have concerns regarding the oil usage when it comes to fatty foods. And what's your response to that, or cultivating healthy eating with regard to takeaway foods?
Well, if you eat fast food 7 days a week, it's not going to be healthy. It's like drinking a half a bottle of whiskey every day. It's also no good for you. But we do strive to make it, if you have it 2 or 3 times a week, as healthy as possible. For example, and we advertise it on our menu boards, on television, on billboards. Our oil has got 0 trans fats, our frying oil. And that already makes it healthy. The best of my knowledge, no other fast food chain in South Africa can boast that their oil has got no trans fats. Our oil's got no trans fats, so at least it makes it a little bit healthier. But eating 6 wings or 8 wings or 10 wings and coleslaw or salsa or even chips, it's not going to affect you. I eat Chicken Licken 2-3 times a week, and I don't have any stomach.
Not at all. Not at all. But I'd like to go back to the advertising. You mentioned that you promote good eating habits as well as the content that you use in your food. And your advertising, there was a point in your career when you didn't believe that advertising would work well to get the Chicken Licken name out there, until you brought Joe Mafela on board.
Yes, right.
Tell us about that.
Well, we did a link tank where you have people around the table, and we asked people who should advertise the brand, and one housekeeper came and said, Joe Mafela, finishing class, good is nice. And I didn't know what good is nice was, and they used to spell it those days, it's goody, S-G-U-D-I, is nicey, S-N-A-Y-S-I. And we said, fine, we called Joe Mafela, and then we did 3 ads with him. And that was 1989. In 1989, our turnover went up 47% in 1 year. When I went to Rainbow that year, before that, they used to make jokes and tell me that I was Mickey Mouse, I was thin on top. That year the joke stopped. Nobody has gone up in 1 year 47%. And that was with Joe Mafela. Great man, and he helped us. Until about 98. And then the young kids, Joe Mafela meant nothing to them. And we had to change. I paid him for another 2 years, even though he didn't do work for us. We had a deal, and you stick by deals. And by the 2000, the deal was over. And
how much did you pay?
I was getting a lot of money. In 1998, Joe Mafela was getting 78,000 Rand every 3 months in advance.
Huge number.
Huge number, but it was worth it. And he did great things for us, but nothing lasts forever. After 9 years, it was time to change.
And how do you do that? Keeping up with the times must be a bit of a challenge for a brand like Chicken Licken, which was established so long ago.
I surround myself with young advertising people with the earrings and the purple hair and the nose rings. And they're creative, and I listen to them. Just like I listen to the designers. We've had the same designers for 20 years. And I listen to them, and we do what they say. And through them, we own some good properties. We own the word soul. We own the word soul food. We own hot wings, which are great words. Soul Sister, Rock My Soul. So we've got 28 trademarks in the soul category. Nobody can own soul except Chicken Licken.
That's worked very well for you, George. What legacy do you hope you leave behind one day when Chicken Licken falls into someone else's hands and you pass on the baton?
That you've got to lead from the front. I never expect anybody to do anything that I won't do or can't do. I pick up papers. I expect everybody to pick up papers. The managers, my daughter, executives, the security guard, even at the head office, got into the habit of picking up papers when he sees papers now around him on the ground. So if you set an example, I think that is what you leave behind.
And your key career highlights?
I think Joe Mafela, definitely, helped me when I needed help. The soul doctor that we had about 12 years ago, it was another big change. And then, of course, the ads we brought in, where there's a monkey on my back.
Yes. Who can forget that?
Nobody. And the best ad I think we've ever made was the ad with the Sipho Hot Sticks Mabusa music that went back 20 years and showed Chicken Licken 20 years and moved it forward.
I know your father has had a strong influence on your entrepreneurial spirit, and you also have a daughter who I take it you've been molding into taking over your position. How important is that, strong family ties?
It's important because you learn from that. Even from my grandfather, he used to tell me things that are important to me now. Do this, do that. No shouting from my grandfather. My father would shout at me. And my daughter, I don't shout at her, but I guide her and tell her this is right, this is wrong. She comes with a problem. How do I solve this problem? I let her handle some litigation which makes her harder, and she understands how she'll deal with lawyers and opposition. That's important. But all the time I keep on telling her, no matter how difficult it is, we will prevail.
And the work-life balance, family, work?
I stop working at 6 o'clock. My cell phone doesn't work in my house because it's very bad reception. So after 6 o'clock, only if it's an emergency, somebody would phone my daughter and she would phone the landline. Yeah, you got to stop somewhere.
George, we know that we've got a culture of entrepreneurs who want to develop in an economy like South Africa, but there are lots of challenges to face. What would be your advice or words of wisdom that you could share with an up-and-coming entrepreneur in South Africa?
Well, they've got to be determined. They've got to go to people and ask them for help. Give me advice. Help me. 99% of people, if you go to them, I do it all the time and said, please, can you help me? They will help you. I do it all the time. I go to the United States and I go up to people and say, can you help me? This is the problem I have in marketing. And they help me. So you just got to ask and people will help you. But you've got to be determined. You can't give up. As if your life depended on it. Because if you just take a casual approach, whether it's business or athletics or sport, you won't succeed. When I hear a boxer saying, 2 more fights and I will retire, I know he's going to lose the next fight. Because he's given up. He wants to retire. You need a fighter that will say, I'll only retire when I'm knocked down. Otherwise, I'll keep on fighting.
So when are you going to retire?
I won't retire. They must probably carry me out of my office.
George, just on the future outlook of Chicken Licken, we've had is good, is nice. We've had the Soul Man venture. What can we expect from Chicken Licken in the next 5 years?
Many more exciting things. You'll see stores in the airports. You'll see drive-thrus in places like Hendrik Potgieter, Sandton City. I think the future is shopping centers and drive-thrus, which are convenient to everybody. And we're happy to fight. And also, we have less stores than our opposition. So we can open more stores. The future is open for us. And I see every time we open, for example, in Eastgate or even here, this is a R1 million store. Where did that money come from? From somebody. So I sometimes feel sorry for our opposition. They're almost sitting like sitting ducks waiting for us to come and take their customers.
And you're doing that, aren't you? George, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. This has been Captains of Industry with George Sombonos, who is the founder of Chicken Licken. From myself and the team, we wish you a wonderful evening further. It's bye-bye for now.